The rope cuts deeper with every step. Not metaphorically, literally. Fibers grind into skin already split open from cold and friction. Blood doesn't drip here. It freezes, almost instantly. The sled jerks. 90 kilograms of wood and supplies slam into the back of his legs. His knees buckle, and he collapses forward into the ice. It looks soft. It isn't. Antarctic ice is harder than concrete. The wind rises, sharp, relentless. The air is around -40 degrees. Every breath burns inside the lungs. Moisture freezes inside the nose. Eyelashes stiffen. Blinking becomes difficult. For a moment, he doesn't move. His name is Arnold Spencer Smith, and his body is already failing. Weeks earlier, the first signs appeared. Bleeding gums, swollen joints, exhaustion that sleep couldn't fix. Now every movement feels unstable. His muscles no longer trust the structure holding them together. Scurvy. Another man leans toward him, gripping the rope to stop the sled from sliding. His voice barely survives the wind. Up. Behind them, a thin line of footprints disappears into white. Ahead, nothing. Just distance. Hundreds of miles of it. The year is 1915. The place is Antarctica, and the men dragging this sled are part of the Ross Sea Party. Their mission was simple: cross the ice, leave food depots, prepare a route for an explorer attempting to cross the continent. Ernest Shackleton. But something has already gone wrong. By the time Spencer Smith collapses, they have been stranded here for over a year. Their ship is gone. Most of their supplies are gone. And the man they are risking their lives to help will never come. Yet they keep moving, dragging weight their bodies can no longer support. Through cold that erases feeling. Through distance that offers no end. Because stopping here means one thing: freezing. And freezing means disappearing. But the part that makes this story hard to believe isn't how they suffered. It's that some of them survived 2 full years on the most hostile continent on Earth. And it all began with one mistake. Not here, not on the ice, but far behind them, on a ship that vanished when they needed it most. The Ross Sea Party was never meant to survive alone. They were the support team. Their job was simple on paper: lay supply depots across the ice, food, fuel, emergency rations. If Shackleton's crossing team reached this side of Antarctica, those depots would keep them alive. But the mission had problems from the start. The expedition was rushed, underfunded. Equipment arrived late. Some of the men had little experience with Antarctic travel. Leadership was unclear. Orders overlapped. Responsibility blurred. But none of those problems would matter as much as the final mistake. Most of their supplies were still on the ship. The Aurora, not safely stored on land. When they arrived, they anchored in McMurdo Sound. The sea froze around them, locking the ship in place. At first, it seemed stable, solid. But Antarctic ice is never still. It moves, slowly, constantly. And when winter arrives, that movement becomes pressure, the kind that crushes. One night, the storm begins. Wind builds, stronger, faster. Ice shifts, grinding against the hull. The sound travels through the ship. Deep, heavy, unnatural. The anchor lines tighten, straining under the force. One snaps. Sudden, violent. The second holds for a moment, then fails. The Aurora begins to drift, at first slowly, then faster, pulled by moving ice, carried into darkness. The men on shore watch it disappear. No way to stop it. No way to follow. And on that ship, most of their food, most of their fuel, most of their survival equipment. Gone in a single storm. What remains behind is not enough, not for winter, not for survival. But they are already there, already committed, already trapped. Antarctica has removed their exit. Now it becomes a test of endurance. Not days, not weeks. Years. The plan was to support another expedition. Now the mission changes. They must survive, with what little they have, in an environment that gives nothing and demands everything. Because once the ship is gone, the situation becomes simple. There is no rescue coming, no immediate help, no safe return, only the ice and whatever they can build from it. The ice doesn't break the body all at once. It starts quietly, a weakness that doesn't go away. Arnold Spencer Smith feels it first. Not pain, something worse. Instability. His legs don't respond the way they should. Each step feels uncertain, as if the ground beneath him is moving, even when it isn't. They are weeks into the depot-laying journey, dragging sledges across the Ross Ice Shelf. Hundreds of miles of ice. Endless. Empty. The sled weighs more than his body can handle now, but they keep moving, because the mission hasn't changed, even if everything else has. The first visible sign appears in his mouth. Blood. His gums swell, teeth loosen, eating becomes painful. Then his joints begin to fail. Knees, ankles, wrists. Every movement sends a dull, deep pain through his body. Scurvy. The body is losing its ability to repair itself. Collagen breaks down. Tissues weaken. Muscles disconnect from strength. Still, he walks, step after step, because stopping means something worse. Behind him, the others watch. They see it. But they don't stop either. Because none of them are well. All of them are weakening. Food is limited. Nutrition is worse. The cold drains energy constantly. Their bodies are already consuming themselves. Fat is gone. Muscle follows. Strength fades. But the sled still moves. One day, Spencer Smith falls. Not a stumble. A collapse. He hits the ice and doesn't get back up. At first, they wait. Then they help him, lift him, support him. But his legs don't hold. Something has changed. Permanently. From that moment, the journey becomes something else. They don't just pull the sled. They pull him. Across the ice. For days. Then weeks. His body continues to fail. Movement becomes impossible. Breathing becomes heavier. Slower. Until one morning, he doesn't move at all. No struggle. No sound. Just stillness. The wind moves over him, the same as everything else. They stop, for a moment, just long enough to understand. Then they move again, because in Antarctica, stopping is not an option, even when someone is gone, even when it should be. Because survival here doesn't allow time for grief, it only allows movement. And the worst part is, this is not the last loss. Because somewhere ahead, one of them will walk into the white horizon and never return. After Spencer Smith dies, the silence changes. Not quieter, heavier. There are fewer voices now, less movement. But the work doesn't stop. It can't. Because survival here isn't about comfort. It's about replacement. Replace energy. Replace heat. Replace anything the body is losing faster than it can recover. Food becomes the first problem, and the only solution comes from the land itself. Seals, they are slow on land, unaware, easy to approach. But killing one is not simple, not emotionally, not physically. A heavy strike ends it quickly. It has to, because hesitation wastes energy, and energy is survival. The smell comes first. Strong, oily, metallic. Steam rises from the body as it's opened, warm against the frozen air. Inside is everything they need. Fat, protein, fuel. They eat it raw. Cooked when possible, not for taste, for survival. The blubber becomes fire, burned slowly, producing heat and thick smoke. The shelter fills with it. Eyes burn, lungs tighten, but it keeps them alive. Water is no easier. Snow isn't enough. Too light, too empty. They need dense ice, cut, melted, slowly, over seal oil flames. The water tastes wrong, smoky, heavy, sometimes oily, but without it, they die faster. Weeks turn into months. The sun disappears. Darkness replaces day. The temperature drops further, -50, sometimes lower. At that level, exposed skin freezes in under a minute. Inside their shelter, the air is thick. Smoke, damp wool, exhaustion. They sleep in layers. But sleep isn't normal anymore. It comes in fragments, broken, uneven. The mind begins to shift. At first, small things, sounds that aren't real. Footsteps outside, voices in the wind. Then stronger. A man hears a ship. Clear. Close. He steps outside. Nothing. Only darkness. Isolation changes the brain. Without light, without time, without normal rhythm. Thoughts begin to drift. Reality becomes less stable. Routine becomes the only control. Wake, melt ice, cut meat, repair gear, repeat, even when the body fails, even when strength is gone. Because stopping means thinking, and thinking leads to one conclusion. No one knows they are here. No rescue, no certainty, only time, and the slow erosion of everything human. Then, one day, during another journey across the ice, one man keeps walking, past the camp, past the others, into the white. No one follows, because they understand. He isn't lost. He has chosen to leave, and the wind takes him, completely. No trace, no return. And still, the others continue. Because survival here has only one rule: keep moving no matter what is lost along the way. At first, they don't react. After months of staring into empty distance, the mind stops trusting what it sees. Shapes appear, disappear. The horizon lies. So when someone notices movement far out on the ice, no one speaks. They just watch. The shape grows slowly, dark against white, controlled. Not wind, not snow, something else. Then the sound arrives, low, mechanical, unfamiliar. A ship, the Aurora. It shouldn't be there. 2 years earlier, it vanished into the Antarctic night, carrying most of their supplies with it. Now it has returned, pushing through ice, cutting a path back to them. No one cheers, no one runs. They stand still, because survival has changed them. Emotion comes slower now, muted, distant. When the rescuers step onto the ice, the difference is immediate. These are not the same men. Faces hollow, beards thin and uneven, skin marked by cold and exposure. Their bodies reduced, weight lost, strength gone, muscles consumed to keep them alive. Some struggle to stand, others move slowly, carefully, as if every step still matters. 3 men are missing. Spencer Smith, gone to illness. Another lost to the blizzard, vanished into the white. A third taken by the long decline of starvation and cold. The survivors board the ship quietly. No speeches, no celebration, just the sound of boots on wood. And the strange feeling of warmth returning. Hands thaw, skin tingles. Pain returns where numbness had been. As the ship moves away, Antarctica fades behind them. Endless, silent, unchanged. History will remember Shackleton. His name becomes legend, a symbol of survival. But on the opposite side of the continent, another group endured something just as brutal and far less known. They completed their mission. They laid the supply depots. They crossed distances their bodies should not have survived. And the man they were helping never came. The supplies were never used. The mission, in the end, meant nothing. Except survival itself. And that is the part most people miss. Survival doesn't always come with meaning. It doesn't always reward effort. Sometimes it simply leaves you alive, changed, carrying everything that happened with you. Because in places like Antarctica, survival isn't victory. It's endurance, and endurance has a cost that never fully disappears. Survival isn't luck. It's timing, instinct, and one final decision. Like, subscribe, and press the bell icon, because real stories like this don't wait.